Welcome back to Time Freedom Daily. This is your spot for your dose of business building, motivation, investing, everything we want to get to. Time Freedom. We talk about crypto, side hustles, all that good stuff. So, Chris, how you doing today, brother?
I am fantastic. I got my sleep last night. Went to Vegas. Those of you that don't know, went to Vegas with the other company that John and I work with, and man, that is something else. You know,
It is. It is.
the way we get treated. Like, I'm not good at spoiling myself, and we were in this room. It was $1,060 a night room. Like, I'm not going to spend that. It's just not. It's not in my head to wrap my head around spending money like that. But it's something else when you get treated to that. It was how many trips have you been on?
I've been on, I believe, 15 trips. I've qualified for a few others that I couldn't make. I wasn't able to make Vegas this time, but I've done Vegas 2 times before. And I'm kicking myself. I qualified for the very first trip that Lavelle put out, which was Vegas, and I didn't go.
I see pictures from that.
They had helicopter rides, and there was only like 60 or 70 people on the event. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I was only in the company for a few months, and I qualified immediately. It was pretty incredible. So I didn't know the impact. And, I was just learning about how to surround yourself with the people that you want around you that's going to propel you to the next level. And, that now that I know, I try to get on as many of those trips as I possibly can because, one, it's an amazing time because you're just hanging out with like-minded individuals, and you're pumped up because everybody's so fired up because they're around so many people, and that positivity and motivation just it's like osmosis. It just it bleeds through your skin into your heart.
Like you said, I mean, being around. And this trip, I mean, we're still in the pandemic. It's Vegas. Not everybody wanted to come. I had people that qualified and didn't want to come, and I get that. But that being said, there was probably still 3,000 to 5,000 of us there. I mean,
that's
a
awesome.
lot,
Sure.
like a big crowd, and it was just being around that many people, like you said, that the positivity, being around a crowd like that where everybody wants to see everybody else winning. Like you said, it's like osmosis that, you come home just like, wow, so recharged.
Your pores are oozing all that positivity, man.
But
hey, before we get into motivation money, because that's what today is, and I know you got a lot on your heart, and we're gonna have a chat about that, and let's talk about the markets because
absolutely,
it's green again.
It sure is. It's good looking day.
Absolutely. Our market cap is approaching. It's hard to read there.
2.6 trillion.
Yes, I was going to say. I know. It was like fluctuating between 2.6 and 2.7, but that's amazing. And bring us back to the top 100. I'm not sure what we have up here. Maybe our top gainers for the day.
The top gainers for the day.
No, give me the top 100. Just the top 100 coins for market cap.
Just in general.
Yeah, right now we're starting at coin number 35 for somehow.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure why we're not starting at. There we go. Awesome. So we got Bitcoin back in the green. We had basically some whale games, as we talk about, where they know that everybody was leveraged, and they saw that opportunity to make that price drop and liquidate some of those people. And it dropped. I want to say it dropped down from that 64,000 down to just under 60,000. And then it kind of just played around between 60 and 61 all weekend. And then the bulls came back today in full effect and pushed that price back up, pushed the whole market back. And we see a lot of good movement here. And, just excited to see it going back in the right direction. I mean, one of the ones that we're very high on, Solana, is I think it hit all-time high this morning again. And there's just no stopping this platform. It's got so much positive feedback, so much money behind it. Solana is supported big time by FTX. It's a huge United States platform. As a matter of fact, they just renamed the American Airlines Arena in Miami, where the Miami Heat play, to the FTX Arena. And actually, there was a video. I think you shared it with me, or no, maybe I think it was my another friend shared with me a video of almost like a commercial of Udonis Haslem talking about crypto and the market there. So that's that is talking about some retail, some mainstream media,
mainstream adoption.
Absolutely. And I got to point out before we go any further is that this movement, folks, is not from people like you and me. This movement that we're seeing is really from institutions, banks, whales, people with high net individuals. These are what's moving the markets right now and infusing all of the money. When you go to the Google search algorithm and you type in, crypto or Bitcoin, we're almost at our all-time low. I know that you and I were talking about that earlier, Chris.
Yep.
What we're going to know when we're close to the top, and it's really been one of the markers that have really identified the top or the upwards end of the market, is when the Google searches or the YouTube searches go up in this almost meteoric rise, and that's where we kind of find the top of our price. So we're not even close to that. And I'm not saying that that's the only metrics that we're following, but it definitely really does show that we're not close to the end. So if anybody's thinking about investing in crypto, again, this is not financial advice, there are potentials for some pretty big gains. Bitcoin is probably going to move the slowest because it has the largest market cap. So, we may see a 2x or 2.5x from here. Mm-hmm. We're definitely going to see six figures. Will we see 150 or 200? There are experts out there that are saying yes, but I would say six figures for sure. So what do you know that you can invest $1,000 in, and obviously it's not life-changing money, and turn it into $2,000, 100% return within the next 3 or 4 months? Right. There's nothing out there.
Just this run. Right. You're still talking about in the near future. Mm-hmm. If you have kids, like I know, John and I do, taking that same 1,000 and putting it in Bitcoin now, when they're going to need it for college 8 years from now, year 1,000, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Crazy at this point.
I went on and I've got some money set aside for both my children, and I've got it in some crypto form. My son actually took some of his own money and invested in Ethereum. So he's got that. And then I took some money and I put it into Bitcoin for both my daughter and my son to set them up for the future, whether it's for college. We've actually done the prepaid college since they've been born. So we have pretty much that taken care of for us, but it could be for their first home purchase, right? Or they could actually, if it grows large enough, they could borrow from it and not have to actually take the Bitcoin out. They can borrow against it, pay it back a loan, and not lose the Bitcoin that they have. So that's a whole nother conversation that we're having. But markets are hot right now. We're not anywhere close to the top. We are not. And another indicator a lot of the experts are saying is that when we see a spot ETF and that mainstream adoption becomes full blown, that could be a marker for the top. So we're going to keep our eyes on everything. And the most important thing is with the crypto market and the regular markets is time in the market. What the reason why I was going with that frame of conversation, Chris, is that there are going to be so many people. And I did this in 2017. I was introduced to Bitcoin when it was like $18,000, and I'm like, oh my God! Last time I saw that, it was like $500, and I'm like, what happened? And then I ended up not buying in at that point, and I forgot about it. Why? Because I heard that the market crashed. I'm like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. So I want to tell people that we're going to see market movement upwards, but we're going to see us talk about this over and over again about exit strategy. And there's a lot of people out there that own Bitcoin, right, Chris, that are never, ever going to sell. And if they're okay with the pullbacks and they're not going to get scared out of those pullbacks going into the bear market, then, that's okay. And I have some friends that are like, I'm just going to hold it forever or whatever that may be. And they're going to be fine. Yep. Anybody that holds Bitcoin for a long time are going to be just fine. If you're investing money that you need for your bills and you're putting $5,000 in that you really need to live on, and you see that investment go down to $3,000, well, what's going to happen? You're probably going to get scared, right? And you're going to sell that Bitcoin for a loss, and you're going to miss the ride back up. Or when you remember it and you see the ride back up, maybe now it's you're $2,000 investment that turned into $5 is now would have been worth $10,000, but now you've got $0 in it. So you got to be careful. But let's talk about the regular markets now as well.
They're green as well.
Yeah, tell us about those, Chris.
The S&P is it's at 0.5%, but we'll call that a good day.
Sure.
Nasdaq is up 1%, $158. And the Dow Jones also just up 0.16.
Sure. And for those that don't know, the S&P is a indicator of the top 500 companies on the Dow Jones, the entire stock market. And then there's another stock market called the Nasdaq, which really focuses on tech companies. They're if you're in the tech industry, you're usually going to put your ticker symbol on the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq is tech companies and stuff like that, disruptive companies, newer companies in that tech space. And if you want to invest in a fund like the S&P 500, for the NASDAQ, there's one called QQQ that is an indicator of the NASDAQ as well. So again, we're going to talk more about that on Financial Wednesday as well. So let's go on to our main topic of the day, Chris. What do we got on our hearts today?
Yeah, well, I mean, every Monday we do Motivational Monday. And I like that. That's a big part of my other world as well, the company that John and I are in, just to kind of set your intentions for the week. It's Monday. I remember back when I used to work, even for myself, I was going to say, my corporate gig, but even working for myself, Mondays, they weren't that exciting. It meant the start of another long week. And since I changed my mindset's everything, right? Since I changed my mindset to make Monday exciting, and to really make Monday that the kind of the kickoff, the rocket taking off, however you want to wrap your head around Mondays. Like Mondays have really become a decent thing for me, and I don't hate them anymore.
No, definitely not.
And this trip to Vegas, like you said, it was just it was very recharging. And a lot of the things revolve around self-improvement, just ways you can, like what we're talking about, wake up and be better. That new, our new hashtag for this year, I am better, hashtag I am better. I love it. If you treat it just as that, just as a goal in the present sense, I am better. That's really what it means. And I put up a little picture this morning on my social media, and it just says, you don't need to improve 100% today. You're going to improve 1% today. Improve 1% per day for the next 100 days, and you're 100% better. But don't try and improve yourself 100% today. Just try and be a little bit better. So I just kind of wanted to talk about a couple of, the real big points. And I think there was a lot said. I mean, I went to several classes, and there was hours worth of amazing speakers, there. And so I don't want to, go for hours here, but I'll touch on some of the amazing points that I got out of this trip, and maybe we'll dive a little deeper in the future into some of these ideas. And one of them, it was actually, I had been reading something in between classes and actually listening to an audiobook, more appropriately. I take my pods with me, and anytime there's a little break, I would rather listen to a really amazing audiobook than listen to the radio. Mm-hmm. What are you getting from the radio, or, some of the podcasts people listen to? I'm like, it's great for entertainment, but is it making you any better? And, I'm always trying to improve myself. And the one guy said, imagine if a huge company, and so in my head, imagine if Mercedes-Benz or Audi or Volkswagen, one of these companies said, you know what? We've finally made the best car. We don't need to improve anymore. Let's stop all the R&D. Let's stop all the experimental vehicles. We've done it. Tesla. Imagine Tesla just said that. You know what? We got the Model S. That's it. We've captured the market. Let's stop. They don't do that. No company does that. Anything. Apple doesn't do that. They don't say that. Well, you know what? We've made the iPhone. We're done. We're done here. It doesn't happen. And the same thing goes for us. And it's tough. I talk to a lot of people it's funny. A lot of people come to me in my inbox and say, you know, how do you stay motivated? How are you so excited every day? Or, you know, oh, you're so lucky, you know, life must be wonderful. Well, you know, it's not luck. You know, we've all gotten here in a certain way, and John has worked his ass off, and you know, I've man, if you guys saw me in the restaurant days, I worked hours and hours and hours for 13 years. You know, so I haven't just appeared here. Um, but it's always self-improvement, and it's always trying to be a little bit better. And there are days when I would wake up miserable as hell. And I talk to a lot of people like that saying, how do I get out of that zone? And you got to remember, like I just said, you know, Tesla, Mercedes-Benz, nobody's perfect. They're huge, huge companies. You see billionaires, they're not perfect. They're still improving every day. So don't be so hard on yourself if you're not where you want to be. John and I say it all the time. You probably just haven't failed enough. You know, but everybody is trying to improve themselves every year. Tesla, you better believe they are working on experimental batteries and stuff so that they're better next year. You know, same thing. You look at them and you imagine everything's rosy over there at Tesla. It's not. They're still trying to get better. And we are still the same way. You know, none of us are exactly where we want to be. We're all in a self-growth phase. You know, and I that really stuck out to me. I was like, wow, you know, you're right. Like, you know, there is not a company out there that I have ever heard of that said, you know what, we're where we want to be. Let's just stop. You know, what do you think, John? I don't think you weren't there, so you probably didn't hear that little quote, but
I didn't. But you know, first off, you know, we talk about, and you made a joke about it last week about you know, being a vegan, but you know, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time, and that's how you have to look at your improvement and how you're moving yourself forward. You got to be doing something every day. You don't have to spend the entire day worrying or focusing on your issues. I mean, I'm not perfect. That's for darn sure. You know, I need to be more patient with my children. You know, I maybe I want a little too much respect from them, and you know, maybe that's not how kids are nowadays, or I don't know, but I need to be more patient with them, and I talk about patience a lot. And you have to be patient with your journey.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect the overnight results. It is the key to having any success, whether it's financially, whether it's personal, whether it's spiritual. It's everything. It's got to happen progressively, because just like, you know, having, you know, that diet where you stop eating and you're eating 500 calories a day, and you're doing that for 2 weeks because you got a wedding coming up and you want to drop the weight for your wedding dress or whatever it is. Well, what's going to happen when you go back to eating normally? Well, that weight's going to come right back. Mm-hmm. You got to do stuff progressively over time for it to sit, right? They talk about habits and doing something for at least 21 days in a row before it can start to become a habit that you can do on a daily basis or a weekly basis or whatever you're doing that particular thing. You can't just go for 2 weeks and just go do something and then expect that to be ingrained in your brain or your heart to do. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to just understand that you have to do it a little bit at a time, and it's right on the money. That picture, you know, you got that loading, you're 60%, 67% loaded, and you're just doing a little bit at a time. It's how it becomes instilled. You know, when I started, you know, back working out in the gym when I was, you know, 265 pounds, and I was focusing on lifestyle changes with my diet, it had to happen over time. You know, at first, maybe I couldn't go to the gym 5-6 days a week, 7 days a week. I was going 3 days a week. Well, that was how I started, right? And once I kind of started seeing some of the results from that 3 days a week, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I really could do 4. And then it was 4, then it was 5. And now I'm at the gym 6, maybe even 7 days a week doing something. And it's now part of my daily routine. You know, and that's how you have to take your personal development. Read something for 30 minutes, listen to something for 30 minutes, find something that somebody else has recommended that helped them, you know, but the bottom line is you got to have it. You got to have your mindset. You got to get rid of the negativity. You got to be ready for it. If you're not ready for it, just like an addiction, trying to quit smoking or drinking, if you're not ready for it, it's not going to happen.
Not going to work out.
So you got to clear the mind, get rid of that mind trash, and you have to be ready for the changes that you want. And if you don't want them, what's going to happen?
Yep.
You're going to make excuses, and you can't deposit excuses. You just can't.
Yeah.
So it's going to become an excuse instead of something that motivates you, right? Like, I can't afford something, or I don't have enough time for this. You don't make that the excuse. You make that the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford it. Well, what are you going to do about it? Cry? Be sad? Or are you going to do something that's going to allow you to afford it? Because if it's important to you, you're going to make it happen, right? If you don't have time, you're going to find time when it's important to you, right? When your child's missing, right? Yep. Your child's missing. I don't have time. I got to work. I got TV to watch. No, your child's missing. You're going to go find your child. Why? Because it's important to you. So find those sayings in your mind, and instead of turning them into mind trash and an excuse, turn them into something positive and make it your motivation.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're 100% right. By the way, you guys, I just reminded myself to tell you guys to like the like button. Hit that like button, subscribe, share us out.
Smash it.
You know what I forgot to tell you, John, on this trip, like I said, we were surrounded by 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 amazing entrepreneurs. I had a bunch of them come up and tell me they love our channel. So that was really cool. Yeah. So thank you so much, you guys. It was really cool hearing that in person and hearing, there should be more channels like this, which I agree, spreading positivity and hope is a whole lot better than, some of the news today.
Yeah.
But, the other thing, just baby steps to help get yourself better. And kind of like what John was talking about, start going to the gym 3 days a week, then make it 4, then make it 5. And there was some little stuff like my clothes here. Now, let me show you. We had our event was a neon themed event. And, I have some shirts like this that I got a couple of years ago when I was in that miserable place because somebody once told me it's hard to be in a miserable mood when you got a shirt like this on.
That's making me happy.
That is super true. How true is that? Buy a different shirt. Like little stuff like that can be like, wow, you know what? You're right. It's hard to be miserable when you got this shirt on. I have one of these with pineapples all over it. I have one of these with little blue fish all over it. You know what? I had to realize I was probably taking life too seriously. And when you start to give yourself room to make mistakes, give yourself room to be goofy. If you get up on stage in front of 1,000 people and you trip, so what? You know what? We're all human, but we're all so wrapped up in trying to be as perfect as possible, and we're not. Like John and I goof up all the time. And that's why, even doing this channel, we were waiting until we had a lot of stuff a little more perfect and better lighting and background. And I was like, no, let's just do it, because people are not perfect. And I don't want you guys to think you need to be perfect to start something. There's never going to be the perfect time. There's never going to be, anything. You think you're busy now, and you're only busy now because you want to believe that you're busy. And I tell this story. I already had, an amazing job that I was working at, really, really, a huge amount of hours when I had my first son. And I was busy. I was working 6 days one week, then 5 days the next day, and then 6 days the next week, and then 5 days the next week. And so I only got 6 days off a month, and each day was a 10-hour day, and so the days were pretty much consumed. And then I had my first son. And then I was really busy. I'd work all these days, and I'd get home and I'd watch him so that his mom had a break, and next day do it all again. And I was like, that was it. And if somebody had talked to me about starting an opportunity on the side, I'd be like, how? I can't. I'm at my capacity. And finally, I just got fed up with the job, and I was like, you know what? I got to do something else. And that's when I decided to open up my own healthy restaurant. So now I was working 6 days and 5 days, taking care of a 1-year-old, researching how to open a restaurant, start my LLC, start putting deposits down and this and that. And I fit it in. because all of a sudden I wanted to. And like John said, all of a sudden it became important enough that I made it a priority and started fitting it in. Well, then I was super busy. Then you're as busy as you can possibly get. Well, then guess what? Now we're pregnant with our second boy. A whole nother human being, and we fit that into the schedule. And you make that work because that's what we do. The more you add onto your plate that's important, you make it work. Had my second boy. By then I had 1 restaurant, now 2 restaurants, had 3 restaurants at one point. Super busy, like as busy as possible, trying to be there for my little kids, became a single dad. So now I'm like stupid busy and having my third boy, still fit it in. And so when stuff happens and you're forced to fit it in, you figure it out. And the same thing can happen for what you really need in your life. And whether, like John said, that's going to the gym and changing your physical appearance to something that you like, or changing your health so that you can be more active and more fun for your kids, which is something that John and I are we're huge believers in that. That's the other company that we're in. But there's some little things that I'll just go into here. And like I said, changing the way you dress is one of them. And that is super easy. And I look at me, and when I was in probably my darkest period, I was wearing a lot of blacks and grays and just kind of be under the radar. And as soon as I changed that to like I said, to wear something that you can't be in a bad mood, while you're wearing it, that was amazing. The other tip that I just heard, how often do you ever write down 3 specific reasons to be happy? That's awesome. I love that. How often? This person was recommending it every morning. Every morning, get up and write down 3 reasons you had to be happy. Instead of thinking about all the reasons you have to be miserable or stressed out and bills are due and this is happening and you have a court date coming up or, whatever, every day start your morning, write down 3 reasons you had to be happy. I was like, wow, that's, it's another thing that's free, like this shirt wasn't free, but I have a bunch of them in my closet and I can choose to put one on tomorrow that's free. There's a lot of little things you can do that are free, that are totally going to change how your day goes and how your life starts to go. Right.
You know what? Let me add to that, Chris, because, what I did, okay, and it really helped my mindset, was I started to unfollow anyone on my social media that was making negative posts or complaining about something. I didn't necessarily unfriend them or block them because, I don't want to make somebody feel bad that we're not friends anymore, but I just clicked the unfollow button. Mm-hmm. So it didn't show up on my feed because I didn't want to have that negativity to influence my mindset. It's about getting rid of that mind trash, right? I stopped watching the news.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I just stopped. So many people, they tune into the news religiously every single day, and it's flooded with oversensitized negativity. Where they're actually, it feels like they're sensationalizing the negative, like it's a good thing.
How often do you get done watching the news and you're like, yeah, that was awesome,
right? You're like, oh man, yeah, that's happening. And I'm not saying be unaware of what's going around in society and what's going on around you, because there's definitely some very, very important things that are going on that need to be changed.
Yeah.
But that constant smack in the face of that negative thing that's happening, and every day there's a million things happening that are out of your control, but are influencing your direction and your mindset. Get rid of that. Get rid of the negativity and start filling it with positivity and change your circle. If the circle is pulling you backwards and trying to talk you out of your dreams or the things that you want to change in your life, they shouldn't be there. I mean, it is a tough choice, but the only people that are in my circle now, and I'm 48 years old now, and it took me many, 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 many decades to figure this out, was if they're holding you back, trying to keep you in your spot, get them out of your life. Or limit the interactions you have with them. because it's going to change your direction. It's going to change your mindset. The mind trash that you're filling yourself with, or other people around you are filling in your head, that mind trash. You're going to get rid of it, and then your mind's going to open up and clear, right? And you're going to be able to focus on that positive, on your goals and the little steps that you want to do, little bites, little steps each and every day. So if you can eliminate that, you're going to be well on your way to being able to make the changes you want to make.
Yep. I love that. And you reminded me of something. I wrote it down to myself. I'm not going to let you guys see it yet because that's going to be another lesson. But that lesson is fire. I listened to that, a couple months ago, and I was like, wow, that is it. So you know what? Just a teaser for you guys.
I'm curious. Come on,
because,
show me under the camera.
Because we will bring that to you guys soon. But awesome. You know what? To wrap it all up, and it was funny because I was again kind of going back to my audiobook in between classes. They were talking about enthusiasm and your own enthusiasm and why is it important. And that was, that was one of the reasons why I don't want to say I drag myself on these vacations because, nobody's going to go, oh, boo-hoo, you have to go to Mexico again, or you have to go to Las Vegas again. But you're right. Like John said, sometimes life is happening and I got 3 boys. I'm a single dad. And sometimes it's not the best timing for me to go on these vacations, but I know I gotta go for all the reasons that I already talked about. And the last one is being get your enthusiasm right. When you're in a business that you love, whatever you're doing, if you're starting your own side hustle, if you're starting your own thing, enthusiasm is so powerful. And I'll use the example. Have you ever gone to the mall and there's a whole bunch of stores in the mall and you walk around and you see some people standing against the wall, at some store that does nothing for you. And then you see the freaking crazy guy standing out in some stores with a case of the Mondays, like jumping around, and he's got all his pins and that it instantly just cheers you up. And like, I know in some of the department stores you go into, some of these people have so much excitement. I end up buying crap I don't even need because there's so much excitement with these people. I'm like, damn, like, I guess I do need new shoe polish. Like whatever the hell it is, and like I have true story. I bought shoe polish because this guy was so entertaining and he came up and polished one of my shoes that was like a Puma sneaker. You know what? I was like, I got to buy his stuff just because, like, the way he makes me feel. But right. Enthusiasm is contagious, and once you get it back into yourself, and especially coming through the last 18 months where we've been very separated, and John and I talk about it all the time in our other businesses. You don't work by yourself, or what how's the saying go? You work for yourself, not by yourself.
Right.
But unfortunately, for the last year and a half, most of us have been by ourselves. We've been able to connect like this. We've had Zoom meetings, but getting together and hugging people like we did in Vegas, being around, that energy, and energy that's vibrations. That is a real thing. It is a real thing. One of our buddies that held a big class in Las Vegas, he was talking about how music, the only reason you can hear music is because it's vibrations. When somebody beats a drum, it creates a vibration over there that goes through the air and you can feel it. Well, guess what? Positive energy is the same thing. It is a measurable thing. And so getting my enthusiasm back up a couple notches, it was like I came back a completely different person than I was Thursday because I was around this crowd again and because they took my enthusiasm right back up to an 11. And I came back feeling amazing again, recharged. And and that's so important to remember. And again, if you guys are in that tough spot, go back to the little tidbits I talked about. Write down 3 reasons to be happy. Change your shirt. Shave your face. Go get a haircut. Ladies, get your nails done. Get your eyelashes. I don't get the whole eyelash thing, but you know what? Go get new lashes. Like whatever it is, change it so that you can step out of the house feeling a little bit better. You know what? Like your posture is different. Just those little things, but it starts getting your enthusiasm and people will notice you a little bit differently. Like I noticed that guy in the mall. So that kind of
Sure.
wraps up all my little nuggets from the trip, just as a glossary. Like I said, there was hours worth of gems, but I'll leave you
Right.
guys with that little easy course in how to self improve.
Love
Just
it.
like
Love
that.
it. Yeah. If you're liking this content, please like, subscribe, share. We had an interview we did on Friday, and it was shared a few times, and our views
It
went
was
way
awesome.
up. But
Yep.
it's free.
Yep.
You don't maybe the interview or maybe this stream didn't resonate with you, but sharing it may resonate with somebody else, and they may come back to say, "Thanks for sharing that. That stream was amazing,"
But
and
more
it
so,
helps somebody else.
So somebody might say, you know what, you just changed my life, but
Yeah,
that's happened to me a few times. Sharing other people's stuff, because John and I don't know everything. We don't pretend to, but it's happened to me a couple times. I've shared a couple things in this last 18 months, and people have inboxed me and said, you know what, I was in a real dark place, and that little 15-minute video you just shared really changed
absolutely.
my life, my view, my everything. So you never know who
Absolutely.
you're going to affect.
So like, subscribe, share, get this message out. It's a positive one, and it's going to help somebody. And we'll be back next Monday to do this again and talk about something else. But tomorrow will be another topic. And every day we try to do something different that's going to help add something to your life, and it's going to add something to somebody else's life. Just go ahead and like, subscribe, share, and we'll be back tomorrow, man. But great stream, man.
Hashtag I am better. I thought that was awesome.
Absolutely.
And, we will see you guys tomorrow. Make today amazing.